Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Cars and Kenny. No, Cars and Coffee with Kenny. Sorry, I had too much coffee this morning. Anyway, welcome to Cars and Coffee with me, Kenny Brown. And if you're a car guy or gal that really wants to learn more about performance, cool parts, and cars in particular, you are in the right place. Because I will spend the next hour or so sharing with you some of my extensive knowledge and background from like 40 years of professional motorsports and building great cars. And also, questions. Please send in questions. I'm more than happy to try to answer some of your questions this morning because that's what I do. I talk about what you want to learn about. And let's see, what do we have lined up for today? This is episode 35. Can you guys believe that? We're up to 35 episodes on this. Just blows my mind. Let's see, we're going to talk about, I've got some cool tech stuff. You know how I like to snag parts out of the shop when we're building cars, some cool parts to show you. Well, I've got two things to show you today. One is the JRZ single adjustables, and also the big Kenny Brown Baer 6-piston big brake package. And then, we're going to talk about the upcoming 5-day Transform Your Driving Experience workshop. This starts Monday, and we did the first one back in, I think, June or something. And it was really popular, and we had a lot of requests to do it again. So we're going to do another one starting Monday. And I can do that now because we just finished up the inaugural class of the Speed Therapy Academy. We just finished up on Thursday and had our little virtual graduation ceremony. So that kind of frees me up for next week to do this, the workshop. And by the way, you have to be in the Speed Therapy Society group, a private group, to see this, because this is not broadcast to everybody. This is just for our people in the Speed Therapy Society. So it's a closed group. So if you want to get involved, I'll get somewhere down here. Will tell me how to do that, but there should be a click. I think that's on the next page when I tell you how to get involved. Let's see. We're doing something really cool this week. We are, we keep working on a technology thing, which we always struggle with. But we're simulcasting now on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. But ta-da, we are now tri-casting. We've added the Speed Therapy Society Facebook group. We're also broadcasting there live today too. So it's a great technological feat. And in a little bit, you're going to see me try to not screw up as I introduce some more technology marvels. Let's see. What do we have? Artwork this week. Okay, this week's artwork is another one of my Nicholas Watts from my collection. And this is the winning GT Mark IV of Dan Gurney and AJ Foyt, followed in the chaparral by Phil Hill. And this is actually signed by Dan Gurney and Phil Hill and the artist. It's kind of a cool work. So if you've been with us for a while, you know I like Nicholas Watts. I've got a number of his pieces, and I thought this is a nice big red car. This is a great shot. So that's what our artwork is today. And let's get back here. As you can tell, I am my own camera person. And I'm also joined by my toolbox. Yep, I think I'm going to call my toolbox Thule. I mean, it's with me all the time. I think it deserves a nickname. So Thule is with me. Been with me for over 40 years. And if anybody that's been with us for a while know that toolbox has been to every major racetrack in North America, plus into Canada more than once. Let's see, going down my list, my handy dandy list that Carrie prepares for me. This part I always forget. She puts it down here. If you're just joining us, I'm Kenny Brown, and this is Cars and Coffee Live, where I spend an hour or so talking to you about things you want to learn about, and also showing some cool parts and some tech stuff, and try to share my extensive background and knowledge. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years to get where I am today, and if I can, by telling you what I know, if I can help you save you from making a mistake, that's a big plus for me. We've got some. Also, we've got some questions from the Speed Therapy Society. We're going to answer, and you can send questions into the Speed Therapy Society through that to me, because I'll talk about things you want to know about, and also send your questions in live right now. So we've got B.D. Dunwood. He's a new member. Welcome. and I want to know thoughts on Magna-Ride suspension. Okay, Magna-Ride suspension is kind of interesting. It's not traditional like spring and shock. It's actually, in the simplest terms, it's made up let's just say the shock absorbers inside. Instead of having hydraulic fluid, they've got sort of a magnetic or a metallic fluid, and through electromagnets, they can make the fluid thicker or thinner and adjust it like in milliseconds. So in a way, it's pretty cool. For street cars, it's a really cool setup because it's always adjusting. And I guess I haven't used anything, but I've heard there are some like aftermarket plugins that you can use to tune the suspension to make it a little more firmer, a little more sporty for track. But to me, that's it's a great suspension. But if you really want to, if you're a serious track person, it has some real limitations. And the biggest limitation is springs. Now for the S550s, as far as aftermarket springs that, like OE replacement, they only go up to like 200 pounds, whether it's on the strut, on a regular strut or on a Magna-Ride, you're locked in maybe 200 and maybe 220 as far as spring rate. And, for track days, that's just not enough. I'll give you some examples. I'll talk about the S197 cars, which it's much easier to talk about because it's a simpler package. But in the S197, and I guess also in the 550s, they come with about 134, 150 pound front spring rate. So as you can see, off the shelf stuff going up to 200 or 220 is a nice increase. It's a sporty increase, but it really doesn't get you where you want to go because my sport touring package is a 350 pound spring rate. Street performance / novice to intermediate track is a 400 pound front, and for intermediate track guys still on street tires, 500, 550, and our advanced people on sticky tires is 650. Also, we use like for street cars, like the GT500s, we'll use a 650 just because it's so heavy, and I'll be talking about that a little later on. So the Magna-Ride is good. There are, I believe, some aftermarket things you can adjust it, but as far as real performance, you're kind of stuck at about a 200 pound spring rate. And like I say, I like big springs, and if you really think that the 650 is too much, my late son Paul's World Challenge Mustang with motorsport shocks, I might point out, we were running like 850 up on Pirelli slicks. So you need spring rate to make the cars go. Also, here's another thing that people really don't realize. To run sticky tires, if you want to run slicks, you have to increase your spring rate. Absolutely. A lot of people they'll think they're going to go faster on their Boss Mustang by doing nothing more but putting a set of slicks on. And what happens is the slicks are so sticky, you don't have the spring rate, you don't have the suspension. The car is going to want to roll. You're going to chew up tires, and really not going to be maybe a little bit quicker, but you would be a lot quicker without the slicks on with a good suspension and a good spring rate and good shocks. So anyway, that's kind of like on the Magna-Rides. They're great street package, but the road limitations if you want to hit the track. Okay, Jim wants to know the best way to tie down a Mustang. Well, boy, that's kind of a tough question because all cars are different. Some are lower than others. I think the do's and don'ts is you never want to like put a strap on like a sway bar, panner bar, anything that would be bending. You always want to look for if you're hooking under the car. There's always like gaps in the K member. Hook onto that, or loop over a control arm, but close to the K member. That's if you're going under the front. Now the problem we run into, a lot of our cars are low with splitters, which means that's impractical. Now you've got a tow hook. You can always use tow hooks and kind of triangulate the tow hooks. But the other thing that I do, because we always use really high quality wheels like Forge Line and Apex, I actually use the spokes of the wheels. We kind of do like an axle strap, go around like a couple spokes, hook on. That way we're coming around the side of the front, so we're not kind of screwing up the splitter. And then the back is you have to go on the axle, but you can't be in a spot that pulls on the panner bar or sway bar. course, our S197s don't run rear sway bar because the suspension's so good. But that's the kind of thing you need to hook onto something solid. And you know, probably the best there's some tie downs that actually there's a thing that goes over the tire, just goes over the top of the tire and ratchets down. And that would be good too, because then you're not going to screw up any of your body stuff. So there's a number of good ways. The what not to do is anything that is soft or can bend. And Carrie is motioning me. I said something wrong, or.
Oh, I do have an announcement, though.
Oh, Carrie has an announcement.
Well, I'll let you read it, if you can read my writing. Lynn St. James.
Oh, congratulations, Lynn St. James. She's been inducted to the Sebring Hall of Fame. Oh, that's awesome.
Just this morning.
Just this morning. Those who don't know, we've had a very long and really great relationship with Lynn that goes back decades. Even back when we were had our shop on Gasoline Alley. We had extra office space, so she actually had an office right next to me in our building. So we've had work with her on her female driving development program, and she's just she's an amazing woman. I got to tell you that. So congratulations, Lynn! Woohoo! I'm sure she's going to be inducted in a lot more halls of fame, but she is absolutely top. She's not only a great driver, she's a great person and a super personality. Okay. We got through the do's and don'ts. That's on page 2. My notes with highlights from Carrie, as you know. Oh, here we go. I always forget this too. Give me some thumbs up. That always helps spread the word. Thumbs up and some love and all that. And also, if you got friends you think that can benefit from what I talk about, please share. We also have some people that set up was it watch groups, I think they're called. We'll get a bunch of people together and watch, which, I'm all over that. I mean, that's great.
You can actually do it right now.
You can actually do it right now, I'm told. People know that my technology has to do with cars. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so thumbs up, love. Let's see. We're going to talk about, okay, well, we might as well send your questions in. And I think we're going to, we actually have I wanted to show you the GRZ single adjustable coilovers again. But unfortunately, they're already on a car. And I wanted to show you the big brake package that we run, the Kenny Brown Bear big brake package that we run, but that's also on a car. So we're going to work with okay, I hope I get this right. This technology thing. We have a special guest to talk about. You know how I like to bring a special guest. We have a special guest to talk about both the shocks and the brakes. So let's see if I can make this happen. Hey, hello everybody. Kenny Brown here, and I've got something kind of cool to show you. Every time we have something in the shop that's interesting, I try to steal some parts from mechanics who are not looking, so I can show you some cool stuff and then put it back before they know it's gone. But tonight I want to talk a little bit about our GRZ shocks. The GRZ shocks are our premium shock package that we use for pretty much all of our track day cars, and they come in. They're actually custom built for me in the Netherlands. It's my specifications, and they're shipped here, on a plane. And when they get here, we assemble them. I select the springs specifically for each individual customer for their application. And when you get them, they're assembled. There's an initial adjustment on there. You get a shock setup sheet. And it kind of tells you how the shocks, how I set them up at. And then there's also kind of like a mini tuning guide at the bottom. So you can just make some basic adjustments, although I recommend people don't make big adjustments. It just doesn't work that way. Everything in moderation, especially shock adjustments, adjustment shocks. But let me get right to it and show you what these are, because these are mainline shocks. And GRZs actually come in single adjustable, double adjustable, and also the RS Pros, which are double adjustable with remote canister. Now, for 90% of our clients, the single adjustable is more than adequate. It seems like the more things people have to adjust, the more opportunity they have to adjust themselves into the fence, which I've seen more than once. And for 90% of our people, the single adjustables are just fine. And especially if you've never worked with adjustable shocks before, it's better if you focus on just one adjustment, not two, because if you do the math, between bump adjustment, rebound adjustment, four corners of the car, there's thousands of different combinations, and the least thing you want to do is find yourself in the weeds. So anyway, this is the rear, and this is our single adjustable. And people ask about the little spring down here, the helper spring. Well, the reason for that is I use some fairly high spring rates, and if you've been paying attention to some of my Cars with Coffee, you know what I'm talking about. But when you have a high spring rate and you let the car down, if this were set up at ride height, then when the car got let down, this would kind of flop around. So what we do is we use these little helper springs just to kind of keep everything in place. So when the weight is off and the shocks hang down, everything stays in place and they go back on. Now these, like I said, are single adjustable, and you can see there's little, see that? Oh, that's not good there. There's a plus and a minus. Minus is soft and plus is hard or firm. And we adjust everything off of full soft. I start at full soft and work our way up. You never want to start at hard and work your way down. And that's just kind of like the worst thing to do, because you want the shocks to be just firm enough for compliance, but not so firm that they don't move enough and they kind of jump across the bumps. Now, single adjustable only controls a rebound. Now, what is rebound? Okay, rebound is when your spring compresses. Okay, if you squash a spring, what's going to happen as soon as you stop squashing it? It's going to bong. It's going to spring back up. And you've probably seen old cars going down the road with kind of like bouncing along, but they have no shocks left. So what the rebound is, it's just pretty much that. It controls rebound. It controls how quickly or slowly that spring unwinds from being squished. Okay, and what you want to do, if we want to control that unwinding, like in the front, you're going around a corner, you want to control how fast that comes up, because you want to have the front of the nose planted. On the back, you want to control how fast it comes up, so you still have weight on the rear tire, so you have grip. So that's what single adjustable is about. Now, bump adjustment is just that, it's just compression. And 90% of the shock tuning we do on Mustangs is with rebound. So, that the compression doesn't really play into this. Although, however, even though this is single adjustable, with every click, there is a small increase in bump adjust, but the major increases in rebound. So this is the rear, and you can see this is a pretty sweet package. These are super high premium, top quality shocks. And then moving on to the front of the car, usually I start at the front and work backwards. Today I seem to work from the backwards forwards. But this is a front strut. And again, we've got our helper spring down here to take up the slack. And I don't know if you can see this, but below there you got a little silver thing down there. That's a torsion release bearing. We always put torsion release bearings on all of our coilover shocks. Two things. One, it makes it easier to adjust ride height, because you've got this basically two thin washers and roller bearings all the way around. So it makes adjusting really easy. But also, as the spring compresses, it goes up and down, it actually kind of twitch a little bit. And by having this little torsion release bearing, it just does that. It releases the torsion that it goes into it, so the spring operates more smoothly. But back a long time ago, when we didn't, before, we're just making our coilovers up, this is like 20 some years ago, when we really didn't have the selection we have today, we would turn Coney's or Bill Sykes into coilovers with a kit. And torsion release bearings really weren't that prominent back then. And what we would see happen is actually we'd see the springs actually wearing on the threads on the coilover, because wasn't any give to them, and they were kind of doing some funky things. So again, we've got the adjustment on the top, negative and plus. And like I say, when it comes to you, I'll make a preliminary adjustment based on your spring rate and your application, and then the little tuning guide. But then there's also big letters. Call me. Before I make any major adjustments on your shocks, call me, and I'll kind of talk you through it. So this is the front strut. And of course, all of our struts come with, can pre-assemble just like this, camber plates on, and adjustment. So, and the thing about jerseys is actually, I don't know if you can see that, actually got a little bit of camber built right into the strut, which means you don't have to run as much camber on the top, which is a good thing. So that's a little bit of our jerseys, and I wanted to show them to you because I love them. I mean, they're a great shock. I got exposed to jerseys 2011, my late son Paul won the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship. He didn't win; he just got dominated. And one of the keys, where there's two keys that I carried forward. One is we talked about before, my Pro 4R race brakes. I mean, that was part of his package. We've since developed them into a much better package, which we offer for S95 197 as far as for pure racing. Nothing better. You may have seen one of the clips on that, but also the JRZs. And I was really impressed because Paul had incredible car control, but one of the things he was really good at is making the curbs work for himself. Curbs, curbing, you see like the pros driving on curbs all the time, and they kind of fly across. Well, you've got to have a good shock package to use the curbs. If you don't have a good shock package, the curbs can actually upset the car, or give you a little sway or something, and that just kind of kills time. But if you've got a good shock package, you can actually use the curbs, and that was what's really impressed me. But Paul had obviously the motorsport shocks, and they're a little pricey for our track day guys. Like 10 grand for a set of shocks plus springs. So we talked to JRZ, and they've actually since then come out with an RS line, which is sort of like for the track day guy and club racer. And it's just a wonderful shock package. I mean, we use them on, just about everything. We've got S197s and the S550s. And like I say, if you want kind of like the best track day shock without spending 10 grand for a motorsport shock, JRZs are the ones to have. I mean, if they work, I wouldn't use them on the cars I build. So if you want to talk more about the shocks and spring race, I didn't mention spring racing. My spring rates are so much higher than everybody else, but then I know how to make springs work and shocks work, and springs and shocks have to work together. But this is a track setup, so we're running about a 650 front and 400 rear, which is typical for a live axle car. The S197s from the factory come with 134 front, maybe 150 somewhere in there, depending on the car. And off the shelf aftermarket sport springs typically only get you 200, maybe 220, and that's about it. And my touring package starts at 350. Performance Street's like 400, and that Performance Street 400 also really good for novice track day people, even all the way up to intermediate. But for the guys that are kind of more advanced and intermediate, but still running street tires, I might run like a 500, 550. But for our advanced track day guys, we'll run a 650, 400. But this is actually not a track car, but it's a GT500. And the front of a GT500 weighs a lot. So I actually use a much higher rate spring. If this was a street car, we'd probably be looking at 500, 550 if it was a Coyote car. But with the GT500 and the extra nose weight, then I chose to use a 650 on this car. And it should just drive like a dream. We've used that package before on the street for GT500s, and it works. But we had a number of years ago, we had somebody bring a Shelby, the Super Snake. It was S197 Super Snake, and he spent like a lot of money on this thing, and he just hated the way it drove. So he brought it to us. We did our full suspension, the Gen 4 AGS 4.0 suspension, and said JRZ single adjustable with a 650 400s. And it wasn't half an hour, 45 minutes later, he called and he said, this car's never driven this good. I should have brought it to you guys first. Well, good for us. But anyway, that's just how good of a package this are, whether it's street or track. If you want a super high quality, premium shock package, JRZ is it. I mean, if they weren't, I wouldn't use them in the cars that I build. So if you have any questions, certainly, the drill. You can get a hold of Carrie or send an email and kind of sign up for one of my 15-minute consults that I try to do a number of them a week just to kind of connect with people and give them good information. And if you want to talk more about shocks and springs, I'd be happy to do that. Just like I say, call in, set one of my complimentary 15-minute consults, and we'll kind of chat about it. So in the meantime, I got to get these back on the bench before they figure out they're gone, or I'm going to be in big trouble. So that's it. That's on shocks for tonight. Okay, I made that work. That was our special guest talking about the JRZs. Actually, I think those Steve shocks?
Yeah, Steve Foley's.
Okay, Steve, if you're watching, that's actually your shocks. He has a GT500 in the shop that we're kind of doing a full suspension on, and the brakes. Actually, the brake clip I got coming up too is the brakes we're putting on Steve's car. It's kind of our standard big brake package for S197s. Let's see.
Actually, they're already on the car.
Yeah, I can't show them to you because they're already on the car. So let me see. Let me try my technology adaptation again, and that one went pretty smooth. I hope I can do it a second time.
What is this on?
This is on the Kenny Brown Bear Big Brake Package for Mustangs. Well, everybody, I'm Kenny Brown, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some brake tech. Okay, as far as brake tech, you've seen a number of times I've shown the Pro 4R race brakes we've developed with Baer, and they're just absolutely awesome brake package. But they are specifically race brakes. They use race pads, race rotors. I mean, they are a race setup. A little impractical for the street. However, for our street cars, we also have a really cool big brake kit. And I'm fortunate is we just happen to have a GT500 in the shop right now. We're doing the full suspension of brakes on. So if nobody's looking, I kind of stole the brakes so I can show you to you for a little bit. But then I'm going to put them back so they don't even know they were gone. So when I look at big brake kits, what I want something that's really solid, that works, that's cost effective, and looks good. So along those lines, for all the big brake, here I go again. I keep doing that. All the big brake kits. Okay, say that 10 times fast. All the big brake kits that I use are for S197s and also S550s and SN95s are pretty much the same. The same calipers. The rotor size might be a little bit different, but let me start off with showing you the front. This is our Extreme Plus 6-piston caliper, and it's forged. And you can see this is pretty heavy duty. It's got really nice thick 0.71 thick brake pads. Really nice machined bracket that goes on it. And what you can't see, kind of hidden in here, are ARP studs along with 12-point high straight nuts, which, you know, the 12 points going to give you better torque value. And that's kind of the working end. I mean, that's the 6-piston. This is a really great setup. And to go with that, at least for the S197, we have a 14-inch by 1.25 rotor and 2-piece slotted. I don't use slotted. Remember that if you use a rotor and go on track, it's going to crack into drill holes, period. So I only use slotted. In fact, for Baer, we have our specific part numbers just with Baer because of the way I like my rotors done. So that's kind of like the working end of the front. I always like to talk about the front first because that gets the corner first. And also to go with those, we have stainless steel brake lines. And with this, they're a banjo type fitting, which is exactly what we use in professional grade race cars. So they work great. In fact, these have just a real light clear coat over the stainless steel. It makes them a little more durable. That's kind of the front end of the car. And for the back, if you've heard me before, I talked that with 8.8 differential with the C-lock axles, it's really difficult to put a big brake kit on the back. Simply because the big brake kit will be solid mounted to the axle, the rotor solid mounted. So the rotor's also solid mounted. And what happens is with a C-clip, there's a little bit of play in and out on the axles. If you've ever taken the back end apart, you've seen a little bit of play. It can be a little bit or even a little bit more. The problem with that is if you go around the corner and the axle moves, and you go around the corner the other way, the axle moves again, even a little teeny bit, it's going to knock the pads back. It's called pad knockback. So next time you go to hit the brakes, your foot goes all the way to the floor, and then you're just pumping like crazy to kind of get brakes before you hit the wall. So that's why we don't put big brake kits on the back unless we do things like change over to like a welded end and a forward 9-inch type axle, which the bearings on the axle that bolts in so it's solid. Or we actually have, we do like 9-inch rear ends. We have specially built 9-inch rear ends for S197 and 550s and Fox. We get them for all of them. So what we do, we want to increase the braking power of the back, but you know, putting the big brake kit on is not a good choice. So what we do, we've got a really great solution. Okay, I just happened to use a rag because this is a crusty, dusty rotor that just came off of the back of the GT500. And, you know, this is like an aftermarket rotor. It's got slots and holes. And like I say, you've heard me before, I never, ever use holes, always slots. Because these things get hot, absolutely guaranteed, 100% every single time they're going to crack right at the holes. And that's a bad thing. So a wimpy little rear rotor, this is what we put on instead. What do you think? It's a 14-inch rotor, and it's the exact same width. It's ventilated, the exact same width as the factory rotor, but it's two-piece, which means it's got aluminum center. And with a bigger diameter, it's like using a breaker bar. You know, if you go to break a nut loose and you got your little 3/8 ratchet and it's can't get it done, you put a breaker bar there, it's easier. Well, the same thing happens with brakes. You put more rotor on the back, it's more leverage on braking, more braking power. And totally transparent ABS. Something we found in testing, it's a long time ago, I might have my numbers off a little bit, but with a stock rotor, we're seeing something like, I'm gonna say just 500-degree rotor temperatures in the back. And when we went to the, this is with our GT4 AGS 4.0 suspension with good anti-squat, good anti-dive. When we went to the 11-inch rotor, the rotor temperature jumped up like in the 800-degree range. And then when I went to the full, this was a modified axle, went to the full 6-piston big brake kit in the back, they went all up to 1100 degrees. So the moral of the story is kind of the more brake you put on the back of Mustang, the more it uses it. You know, for years, people say, well, no bother putting bigger brakes in the back of Mustang. They don't use it. All the braking's at the front, the back of the air, back of the car is always up in the air. Well, with a rear grip kit, it's not always up in the air, it stays down. But what I'm saying is you can dramatically improve your braking, stopping distance, stopping power by big brake kit in the front and a big rotor kit on the back. Now for SN95s, we have this brake available for SN95s, but we have some for a 13-inch rotor for smaller wheels, but I prefer the 14-inch rotor. And I like to see at least 18-inch wheels, but I think they will fit on the 19-inch wheels. I think they will fit 18s. But we also, just to be sure, anytime you get a big brake kit, very important that you understand, will your wheels clear big brakes? Now, for our kits, we can send you a template that you can kind of print, put on a piece of cardboard. I'm going to have one over here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Here you go. There's a brake template. This is for our Pro 4Rs. And there, you can see it. This prints off in kind of like real in the actual size. And I put just a piece of cardboard, and you can lay that on your wheel. Let's go this way. You don't see the ugly back. You lay it on, let's see, lighting, help me out here. This is getting bad. Okay, we'll try that. Okay, you just put it on your wheel in here, and this will give you the profile of the brake so that you can see if this hits any of the spokes on your brake that's not on your wheel, the brake kits aren't going to clear. If there's room, then the brakes are going to clear. All the wheels that we use and carry clear big brakes. So, and then on for the S550 cars, we have same caliper, 15-inch rotor on the front, which even better. But we also, because it's an IRS car, we also have a big brake kit for the back. It's also a 15-inch rotor, 6-piston caliper. So that's pretty cool. And the brakes that we do have kind of like a secret brake package we use for the 550 cars. It's my super mono monster Giganta brakes. It's actually, the rotors are 15-inch and the calipers themselves are like 14 3/4 inches and they're massive. But that's only for the 550 cars and only for the front. And we just put them on our special builds, like the GT4 CSR cars, like Maryland, for example, that we built a year or two back. But that's kind of where we are with the big brake kits that I use. And the reason I use them is because they work. They work. They're good quality and they work. So that's a little on the brake check on the brakes I use on my cars. So there. And this better get these back on the bench before the guys figure out that I stole them. So with that, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Aha. Well, I did that. You have no idea how pleased with myself I am that I got through that without a mistake. And those have been with us for a long time, and even like in the Speed Therapy Academy, understand what I say when my technology base has to do with cars, because we suffered through some technical things, but we sorted them out. And if we have any of our Speed Therapy Academy guys with us today, I want to congratulate you on your graduation and putting up with me for 14 weeks, I guess. It was pretty good. I think everybody enjoyed it. We had some fantastic special guests in our master class. In fact, we finished up our last master class this past Wednesday was with an engineer friend of mine I've known for years and years, Buddy Fay, talking a little bit about data acquisition. And you say some people, well, they wrote the book on it. This guy actually didn't write the book on it. He wrote a book called Data Power a while back, but and he's engineered just about every if it rolls in a road race car, he's engineered, won a bunch of championships. Anyway, that's how we finished off, and then we saw some videos from some of our guys this week, did some critique, and then we had and driving tips, and then we also had quiz questions to answer. Each quiz was specifically sort of designed around the individual guy, and it was most of them got it right. Almost everybody got it a little bit right, and some of them got them really right. So that was good. It was a good thing. I think everybody enjoyed it. But anyway, congratulations, you guys, if you're out there. I really enjoyed the 14 weeks with you, and I think from what your feedback is, you enjoyed it and learned a lot too. So let's move along to. I guess that puts me down to talking about the 5-day workshop. And it starts on Monday. And like I say, I can do this now because we finished up with the inaugural class of the Academy. And it's transforming your driving experience. I mean, I can't get everything in that I know, but I try to get as much in as I can to share with you. And, going day by day, for example, like first day's the first crucial steps. Now we'll talk about building the performance platform. Day 2, day 3, building performance platform part 2, dialing in the car for your maximum driving experience, and tips and tricks for driving and car preparation. Kind of wrap up the week. And Carrie is coming up with a sign. No, she's not coming up with a sign, not yet. She's preparing to come up with a sign. So you can register.
It's on there.
It's on here. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it now. Remember I told you in the beginning it was down here somewhere? Okay, you can register on the KennyBrown.com website. And remember, this is a closed deal. This is not open to the public, the workshop. It's a closed deal. It's in the Speed Therapy Society private group. So you can register on the Kenny Brown website, in the Speed Therapy Society Facebook group, through the link posted here. On the Kenny Brown Performance Facebook page, or if you're not a Facebook person, call us and we will make arrangements so you can participate at some level. So now she comes up with the sign.
Okay. So, are you going to read it, or you want me to?
That's a lot to read. Okay, you're going to have to read it.
Okay, so one of the things, once you register, you need to join the Speed Therapy Society Facebook page, which Kenny said. But what we have in there to help you through the workshop is
this is a new improvement over the first workshop.
This is really important because this is going to help you through the workshop. It's a 5-day workshop, and everybody has their own Kenny Brown workshop ambassador. Amy and Bridget are the ambassadors for this workshop, and they're trying to reach you through Facebook Messenger. So if you could please check out your Facebook Messenger page. There's usually a little red button up in the left-hand corner that you can see that you have a message for somebody. Just open that up and they will converse with you, and they are going to share, if you can't make the live workshop, they'll share the replay. If Kenny offers any kind of learning resources, they'll be able to give you a link to that. It's just a more convenient way for you to make it through the workshop. If you have any questions, especially there's a lot of questions usually right when the workshop is happening, you can just instant message your Kenny Brown Workshop Ambassador, and they will be able to help you. So Amy and Bridget are standing by the ready to answer any of your questions.
Okay, well, see, new and I can say that this workshop is new and improved. Two of the most important phrases in advertising. So that's going to be kind of good. Like I say, we've got a lot of people signed up so far. I'm really impressed how many people have signed up for it.
Yeah, there's almost 500 signed up so far, and a lot of them are signing up again because they want to watch the workshop for the second time. This is a really cool workshop. If you can make it, I'd recommend registering, and then also just realize that we will be having the replays. They will be posted in the Speed Therapy Society Facebook group until Tuesday the 24th. So if you can't make every day, you'll be able to watch the replay, and it's worth registering.
And it's free. I guess that's the other important term: new, improved, and free.
Oh my goodness, you sound a little salesy there. Yeah. So anyway, I think you
have some questions.
Yeah, let me see where we are. I've been chit-chatting too much, so I need to get back to our questions. One Facebook user says, I need a Mustang. Let's see, any other ones. And right now, if you want to add questions, go ahead. Okay, and let's see. I don't have a lot of questions. So
that's kind of a...
Yeah. You can tell them.
Yeah, if there's a wire or camera, Carol, trip or kick it.
Okay, we have a question back here. There's not many questions, so make sure you ask your questions now. JL says, and I think he's a new Speed Therapy Society member, and he may be signed up for the workshop. JL says, when you were talking about shocks, might the double adjustable strain shocks be able to be used on the rumble strip successfully?
Okay, he's talking about the double adjustable strange. And I'm going to say yes. Although if it's an S197, I mean, an SN95, that's what we have our custom built strain shocks for. I recommend to people to stay off the alligator teeth if at all possible. For a couple of things. One, I mean, you've got to get your shock adjustment just right. The only way we get the strange is the fronts are double adjustable. That's the only way we can get them, and we'll run very little bump in them, and mostly rebound. But you need to work with them so that they feel right going across. But I tell people SN95s to kind of stay off the alligator teeth. They chew up wheel bearings, especially if you've got sticky tires or big wheels. If it's a smooth curb, you're okay. But if it's got those alligator teeth, they will work okay. But I really strongly recommend not driving on them. In fact, in the academy, one of our people we're doing a video with SN95. He was hitting the alligator teeth, and I said by teaching him, showing him a different line, how to get around the corner better and stay off the alligator teeth. I think when he goes back and drives again, he's going to be a lot quicker, without even cutting the corners. Okay? Okay,
so anyway, we have another question on shocks. Cliff Glidden, who is one of our Speed Therapy Academy graduates, asked questions about his shocks. He's also getting the JRZ shocks on his car. Actually, they're on there already. How about when they begin to wear? How do I or where do I get them rebuilt?
Okay, that's a good question. They are rebuildable. JRZ does have a service center here in the U.S. It's up in Chicago, getting rebuilt, so that's not a problem. I can tell you we've only had just spotty issues with having to have them rebuilt for the most part. Like on Ruby, my car, I ran there for 3 years, and with no problems. But if there is an issue and need to get rebuilt, there's a service center just right up in Chicago. We can kind of shoot them off, and they rebuild them and send them back. So, that's a nice thing about these professional level shocks is they are rebuildable. Okay.
Okay. Also, Herstopher has a question. He's another graduate.
Herstopher is a graduate of Speed Therapy Academy, and he joins us from Bulgaria every night. It's 2:00 in the morning when he's at the academy, but he's with us this morning. Hello, Herstopher.
Okay, he has a question. The S550 15-inch back calipers, how do they work with the master cylinder, and how does this affect brake balance?
It's transparent. It's just totally transparent. The calipers are set up with the right volume, so that the master cylinder works exactly the same. And because it's ABS, advanced ABS, it's totally transparent. They don't even know they're back there. The only thing that can tell you they're back there is the car stops. A hell of a lot better. But yeah, no, and any of the Baer brake packages we have are transparent to ABS. And if they weren't, I wouldn't use them, because you guys don't need to be fiddling around and trying to figure out brake biasing. It just, having the ABS work, that's the way I like it.
Okay, we have a number of comments. They're not questions from Tribar65, but he's going to get your opinion whether he wants it or not. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to read a number of his comments. Okay. He has a Boss S, and he has the GRZ Pros on it with the FA 3030 piston. That's a low friction, yeah. I think. Okay, and it's valid for 750, 250 springs. So 750 front, 250 on the rear.
Okay.
Let's see.
What kind of car it is?
It's a Boss S.
Boss S?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And let's see. Let me see what else he says.
750 front.
No, it's 750 front, 250 rear. And okay. He says he has a 22 millimeter rear sway bar on the car. And he also has, it's a 12 Boss S. He says if I drop the rear sway bar, it goes up. He puts 400-pound springs on, or it goes up to 400. And on his rear suspension, he has the Watts link, stock 302S and Watts.
Okay.
So do you have any opinions or anything, or is it a 15-minute?
It's a 15-minute, but I can tell you, first of all, with 750 front, I hope you run like sticky tires, because that's for 750, you need sticky tires. Also, you're way undersprung in the back, way undersprung. Our basic package is a 650 front, 400 rear. 750, we go up to maybe a 450 in the back. But the other thing is with the rear grip kit, the geometry in the rear grip kit, first of all, we throw the rear sway bar away because I use geometry to control the back of the car. So rear sway bar just makes it worse. Secondly, with the Watts link, I've talked about this before. Watts link is the absolute best way to locate for lateral location of an axle. Okay, the problem is wherever that center pin is that the bell crank rotates off, that becomes your rear roll center. Rear roll center is the part of the car that back of the car wants to roll around, and it's high. You typically cannot get them down very low just because of the how the bell crank works, and then you also have to have some structure off to the side to hook onto. Back in the late Trans Am days, what we used to do is take a Watts link and mount horizontal to the bottom differential. That was easy because it's an underslung chassis, so it's easy to just go over and tie off to it. But that gave us the benefit of a Watts link for actual location, and also put the roll center at the bottom of the diff. Well, for the track day guys, for club racing guys, I mean, it's pretty impractical, even for street guys, pretty impractical, to kind of do that sort of thing. So what I do instead, where the panel bar crosses the center line of the car, that's your roll center. So in our rear grip kit, it's every single piece of the rear grip kit is engineered to have an improvement on suspension geometry. And I've talked to that before, but with the panel bar, what we do is we got a roll center relocation kit, and the panel actually rolls the panel bar down to the very bottom of the differential. So we take the roll center from being high and move it down to the bottom of the diff, which has a huge impact on the roll rate in the back of the car. Like I say, because it's the geometry between the lower roll center in the back and what I do between the upper controller module, the axle brackets, and lower control arms, is we bring the instant center sort of back in the, I won't say exactly, the guys that took the academy know exactly, because we had spent a couple of days on geometry. But I bring it back into an area in the car that I developed over, this is Gen 4 of the suspension. So we get the instant center, and the instant center means anti-squat and also anti-lift. So, I mean, that whole package it completely tames the back of the car, and we throw the rear roll bar away. And Watts links are great, except for me, you can't get the roll center down where I want it. So that's why we do it the way we do. But I think you're seriously undersprung at the back. I just we run 650 400s, and the only people that run 750s, we have them on like super sticky tires, like at least Hoosiers or Slicks. But yeah, the GRZs are valve. The GRZ valving is so good; they cover a massive range of spring rates. So I guess you got my opinion whether you want it or not.
Yeah, tri-bar. If that's
and if you want, you can set up a 15-minute consult, and we can talk about it some more.
Yeah, and the 15-minute consult link is on the Facebook page, and it should be in the comments. One of our team members will post the 15-minute link. Okay, let's see. We have a number of questions coming in right now. Okay, JL has another question. He's the one that asked about the double adjustable shocks, strain shocks.
Okay.
Okay, when it comes to time for the KB SN95 SLA system, are the wheel bearings changed for something other than OEMs? We are all used to ball joints and any other consumable types of parts common for longevity.
Yeah, I can tell you, and the SLA is at least a year away, maybe, but I can tell you that we'll run different wheel bearings than what's on the than the SN95 wheel bearings, because as we know, they're always been a problem. But no, it'll have some pretty heavy duty wheel bearings, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'm really I got so many things to do. That the SLA for 197 and SN95s is a year or so out, but we have something right now that we just got a patent on. We filed for a patent, so it's patent pending, on the rear suspension that I'll be introducing in the weeks to come. Not quite ready yet, because we want to get it into a little further into we're doing like a pre-production lot, and the guys in the academy know all about it. In fact, most of them already signed up for one. But we'll be talking about that coming in the future. But it is actually it'll blow your mind how I get the rear suspension to work. But like I say, I guess I'm giving it. Is this a teaser?
Yeah. You're not supposed to give teasers.
They're not supposed to give teasers. Anyway, what we'll do is when the academy guys know all about it, and I want to get a little bit further in a couple 3 weeks maybe, and then what we'll do is we'll do a special segment in the society just to introduce this new product, and we're not going to introduce it to the public at large for probably till after the first of the year. So right now the academy guys know about it, and in the coming weeks the society, you and the society will know about it. So I guess I kind of got off on a tangent.
Yeah, you did. Okay, what time is it? We've got a few more minutes here. Okay, we have still a number of questions to go. I can find them. So I think you answered this with with Herster first, but this S550 15-inch back calipers, how do they work with the master cylinder, how this affects brake balance? Is that kind of a real similar
that's the same question. It's totally transparent, the ABS and the master cylinder. It doesn't even know it's there. And that's because the calipers, the piston size is engineered so it's got the same volume as the OE brakes. So if you got the same volume, then the master cylinder doesn't know the difference. And even though it's got a 15-inch rotor, the ABS sensors still pick it up, so it's totally transparent. It's a pretty cool package. I mean, it looks awesome. I gotta tell you, big 15-inch brakes front and rear with bright shiny red calipers or silver calipers or black calipers. I forgot to say, we can get the calipers they come black, silver, and red, but there's custom colors. We can get them in a lot of different colors. We've actually had a couple get nickel plating on their calipers, which are pretty cool. So.
Okay, so Cliff Glidden, he doesn't have a question, but it's just so sweet. Again, from our Speed Therapy Academy graduate class, he says Speed Therapy Academy was a great learning experience. I encourage anybody who wants to know more about his car, setup, driving improvement, and sharing Kenny's knowledge. It's well worth the time and the effort. He said it made him better. That's not sweet.
Yeah, that's really nice. We appreciate the plug. And Cliff has an FR500S. You may be familiar with. They were built in 8 for the Mustang Challenge in 2009 and 2010. And back then, I actually engineered 3 of the Mustang Challenge cars for Speedworks. Speedworks?
Yeah,
Speedworks racing here in Indianapolis. And it was really weird. Cliff ended up with one of the cars, the number 44 car, that I hadn't seen since 2010, and it's like what we're doing is we are basically making a whole new car. It's sort of like unscrewing the radiator cap, rolling the car out, rolling a new car in, screwing the radiator cap back on. He's getting full AGS 4.0 suspension, Profile R brakes, JRZ shocks, and we're doing the engine upgrade that was legal for World Challenge in 2011. So 2010, the Mustang Challenge Series finished, and there was all these cars, so they allowed them into the World Challenge with some updates. What he's getting back, he brought a 2010 FR500, the Mustang Challenge spec car. What he's getting back is a 2011 World Challenge spec car. And I'm pretty excited for him to drive it because he's just not going to believe how good it works. So thanks for the plug, Cliff.
Okay, and then see, Tribar has a comment that I think is good for everybody. Tribar 65 is, I'm sure that's not his name, but his code name. He says that they're for JRZs to be rebuilt. PSI at Sonoma Raceway can rebuild them as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's two different places. Like we use the one in Chicago because it's close.
That's good for West Coast.
And so now I know there's one for the West Coast. So yeah, I mean they're fabulous shocks. I mean, if you look at the JRZ website, these are absolutely top level professional grade shocks, and they're really big in Europe.
Okay, and D.D. Dunwood, he's a new Speed Therapy Society member, and I'm assuming he signed up for the workshop. He says, S550s, are hub-centric wheel spacers good or bad for geometry?
Hub-centric waist, it really doesn't change geometry that much, but you really should be using hub-centric. If you're using wheel spacers, hub-centric is one to use. Because what that means is the wheel will actually, it's the hub on the spacer the wheel will center on, so you don't have to rely on the lug nuts. It really doesn't change that much. I mean, it's minimal, nothing that you would feel. The thing it does do, if you put spacers on the front, you're widening the track, and widening the track in the front is always a positive, good thing. It always makes the cars handle better.
Okay, and then we have two questions from, I'm not sure their name, but anyway, it says Facebook user. So, but they've been pretty active on our site right now. So let's see, wondering what is the best, for S197, what is the best brake pads to use for street application? What do you recommend?
Okay, we've got a couple different ones. And if you call in, we can talk about it, because we've got just a pure street autocross. And I think we've got 14 maybe different brake compounds, but we do have a really good one for the street that's easy on rotors. It's for a 550 car.
No, this I think is an S197, because he's asking a 197.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of switched over to for our track day guys, the street guys, the G-locks. We're still using Hawk for race cars, just because that's what I've been using for years for race cars. But the G-locks that we're getting are really friendly on rotors, which is good. And also for the track day guys, we get them pre-vetted, so you don't have to waste an entire session vetting your brake pads. And people who run track days know if you don't get your brake pads vetted right, they don't last. But anyway, we get them pre-vetted. So yeah, call us. We can get you hooked up. Not a problem. Okay. We also can get you set up with 2-piece slotted rotors as an upgrade.
Okay, I think I figured out who this Facebook user is. Because it's the same question here. Chris Perigo, since an S197 brakes and clutch use the same fluid, do you recommend spreading them?
Yeah, actually, yes. I mean, there's kits out there that separate the master cylinder reservoir for the clutch and the brakes. Those who run S197 know that they use the same hydraulic master reservoir, the brake reservoir for the clutch. And if you're on track a lot, that can get hot. We certainly recommend, the very least for S197 track guys, is put like the flame stuff for spark plug wires fire guard, whatever they are, put that on your line down to between the master cylinder and the you know what I mean, because it will get hot. And by removing it, we're doing that on. I think that we're doing on Cliff's car. We're putting a remote reservoir for the clutch fluid. So yeah, I strongly recommend it.
So,
We don't build it or anything, but I know there's kits out there, so I recommend it.
so also, I would like to thank Chris Herigo. He invited a whole bunch of his friends.
Oh,
So
gosh.
thank you. On where I'm looking at it, Chris, it says your name is Facebook user, but I'm on a different platform. So thank you, Chris, for inviting all your friends. Really appreciate it. Okay, and then from my watch party, let's see. Mark Bowen would like to know, Mark Bowen, would that big rotor package work on an F-150? I already have 15-inch 6-piston calibers up front.
On an F-150?
Yeah.
If it's got an 8.8, I think the answer is yes, but I really need to check on that because we haven't done that yet. But certainly, give a call in and.
We have some, but on our research on that, we have. You just don't remember. We have packages for the F-150.
Oh, I guess we do have packages for the F-150.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
Well, I won't say anymore. You developed them.
Yeah. I did.
Okay. So anyway, Anibus Farrow is actually, he has got almost our full front and rear suspension, I think, right now. He's asking a question because he has an S197 GT with 14-inch OEM Brembo brakes. Would there be an issue running 13.8 GT500 rear rotors?
No, but let me tell you this, that the better package is the 14-inch rotors that I just showed in the clip. We got a GT500 here, and we're taking the rotors off and putting the 14 inches on. I can't remember what years, like there's some years, the GT500 that actually, maybe it's 13, 14, I just don't remember. Rich would know that if to switch over to the 14-inch rotors, we have to actually put the brackets off of the GT on it. So no, I would strongly recommend the 14-inch upgrade kit over the GT500 rear rotors. A much better package. So the two-piece slotted rotors. I mean, that's sort of like the bomb. Plus they're 14-inch. And I'm just stalling because Carrie's doing something on her phone and not asking me questions.
I'm actually working with 3 of our team members.
Oh, she's working with 3 of our team members right now, so I guess I have to delay for more time.
Well, maybe I should just ask Bridget right now, as long as. So anyway, Bridget did a watch party.
Oh, Bridget, good for you.
And she has one question. I'm not sure if it's 2 questions from her watch party. So Bridget, if you can send through the second watch party question, if there's one, I'd appreciate it. And then we have, let's see, our good old Facebook user said, love how easy it is to change the paths. And we also have someone, this is what their name is, someone on Facebook. That's clever. 13 to 14 GT500 is bigger on rear, is what he mentioned. Is that correct?
It could be. I just know that we take them off and put our 2-piece rotors on because we cannot get 2-piece slotted rotors for the GT500. To replace the OE ones. So we go to ours, which if you're going to put rotors on, 2-piece slot is what you really need. It just does so many things better.
Okay, there was a number of questions today. If anybody has any more questions, or if we missed one of your questions, please just retype it in and we'll read it. Otherwise, we're going to be getting ready to sign off. I just wanted to mention one more time, if you signed up for the Transform Your Driving Experience workshop, and you've also joined the Speed Therapy Society Facebook page so you can view the workshop, Bridget or Amy, our Kenny Brown workshop ambassadors, have messaged you, and they're waiting for a reply from you. They'll be able to help you through the workshop, get you a whole bunch of resources that you need. So look in your Facebook Messenger up in the right-hand corner for a little red dot and click on that and you'll be able to connect with them.
And also wasn't there some problem with some emails going into people's junk mail?
Yes. Yeah. So what we've learned, especially if you have Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365, they've increased their security. So a lot of people's emails are going into junk or clutter. So if you're thinking you should get an email from Kenny Brown, especially on the workshop, we'll be sending you one every day to remind you as a reminder, and also the replay. So if you do that, make sure you check your junk or your clutter and then click on it so you can accept us as a safe sender.
There we go. So, have any more questions, or are we?
I think we are good. Just one more. Monday is the workshop, and you can sign up on just about every access point for Kenny Brown. The website, Facebook page, call in, any way you want to.
Okay. Before we close off, what are we doing next Saturday?
It's on your notes.
I know, but I can't find it. Oh, here, I found it. Okay, next Saturday, we're going to talk about, of course, answer your questions and talk about some winterizing for cars. And a lot of people don't put their car up for the winter. So we'll talk about that. Some questions I'm sure will come in during the week, and we'll talk about those too. But after next week, I think Thanksgiving is an ENCORE presentation. And then I'm lobbying to do a couple of ENCORE presentations in a row coming up. It's been 35 weeks for me. Saturday Cars and Coffee. We did a 5-day workshop. We just did a 14-week academy. I'm doing another 5-day workshop. Okay. So I'm going to take some time. What I'm getting to, if there's certain things you'd like to see again, send in what you'd like to see, and they'll try to pull up the episodes that feature what you want to talk about on the ENCORE.
Will you plug your ears for a moment?
So
don't say la la. I have to talk. So anyway, what usually happens? Kenny takes 1 week off, and then he's raring to go. Our team really wants him to do more than do every Saturday.
Well,
so we'll see. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So anyway, take care.
Okay, that's it for today. I really appreciate everybody showing up. Congratulations again to our Speed Therapy Academy graduates. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to seeing an awful lot of you Monday night for the Transforming Driving Experience workshop. Thanks for your questions. You want anything we didn't talk about, you want to know about for next week, send your questions in to the Academy, and we'll sure to try.
Society.
Okay, I told you, 35 weeks of this. Okay, I could use some encores.
Send them into the Speed Therapy Society.
Okay, well, with that note, a tweet came in. Is it important? Nope. Okay, but with that, I'll let you guys go off and enjoy your Saturday. If you can still drive your car, if you're at part of the country you can, enjoy it. It's getting a little frosty here, which I'm not really looking forward to what comes after the frost. So we'll see you next week.